Hey, loves, how are you? I said I was going to address the concern, the question about what to do when you're trying to process and or there's a lot processing, but you get overloaded because you have other things to do in life, like work, go out into the world, X, Y, and Z, or just the fact that we reach these points where we're processing so much, it just becomes overwhelming. And I have two big points that I want to share with you today. One, when there's that much up in your system and that much processing, and it feels overwhelming to try to find a solution or an answer, don't try to find one in that moment. I don't mean ever, I just mean in those moments, just give everything space. It's almost like you don't have to figure it all out right now. If you can, just give it space. If you are at work, and there's a lot up. You can almost envision putting it in a treasure chest for later. Then you can process it later. Not that you're getting rid of it or ignoring it. You're acknowledging it, you're honoring it, but saying, okay, I cannot focus on you right at this moment. So I'm going to set you aside for later. And then make sure that you're setting aside time to address whatever is up in your system so that your treasure chests don't get backed up. Okay. Also, with that being said, you want to make some space in the mornings when you wake up to give yourself space to not do anything. And what I mean by that is get up, get your coffee, get your tea, get your whatever you get to get yourself relaxed or going in the morning and take some time. Optimally, it would be awesome if you could give yourself at least a half hour. An hour is awesome. But if you only have like 10 or 15 minutes, that will work too. I think it's just most important that you set aside some time to honor the subconscious fields of what you processed during your sleep time, because we are processing so much right now, more than we ever have on this planet, because we're shifting in a different way instead of storing all of the information for generations and generations. You know how I talk about unraveling all of that information that's like clogged up our system? So we're releasing that so we actually have space for new information that's coming in now so we can be present with who we are now. But it's going to take a bit for us to unravel the old information that was there and kind of backing up our log. Okay. But we're doing this at a very high speed way right now, in a way that we never have. And so even if we're not necessarily paying attention to this, it's happening in our systems. And that's why people are feeling a bit more overwhelmed or anxiety, because there's a lot more coming up a lot faster than it ever has before. Okay. So what I'm noticing over these last few years of really dedicating a large amount of my time and space to this processing process, I have learned that what happens is we have our day and we're processing things. We're processing that actual day, but we're also processing whatever comes up in our system throughout that day based on our past informational experiences. Okay. You roll with me. So you're having that current moment experience, but then memories and thoughts and things are triggered from past. So that comes up in your system, and that's what you're processing and working on that day. So it makes sense that if you're trying to focus on the current moment and you have all this other past stuff coming up, it gets overloading. And then you have people throwing stuff at you about the future, and all of a sudden it can feel overwhelming or discombobulating. It's okay. Just remember that analogy of like getting into your boat in the present, and the past is the oar and the future is an oar, and they're there and they're part of life. But in that moment, just get yourself into your current energy as much as possible and let the rest kind of run. Okay. I feel like I just went off on a side tangent. But my point is that when you go to bed at night, when we sleep, it's where we do a lot of processing. That's why we dream. That's why we have REM, right? We literally are processing the information in our subconscious fields that we were not able to do during the day. And our subconscious fields make up like 90 to 95% of our energy. And it's all of this stuff that you're not aware of consciously, but your body, your emotions, your nervous system is picking up all of this information anyway. Okay. It's why sometimes we get memories or thoughts that we forgot about, and then all of a sudden they come up in our system strong, because everything is actually stored in our subconscious fields, or it was. And so it's all still there. We just don't really know about it or remember a lot of it. Okay. So that's actually why my work is as effective as it is, because we're working in the subconscious fields. But also, when you sleep, you're processing that. So it's processing that day before and the past information that came up in your system. So when you wake up in the morning, sometimes you might still feel a little groggy or still feel a little heavy or a little overloaded almost sometimes from the day before, almost like a energy hangover. And then if you just start jumping into that day, you feel like you're never getting on top of it. But what I have found is if I just take that like 15, 20, 30 minutes in the morning to just be no phone, no, like my phone will be there, but I'll put it aside. I notice even if I try now to put something on or a video or whatever, I can only listen to like one sentence because my mind and my energy is now being trained to be present. And I need to let my process happen before I can take in the new information. So you can start to train yourself to take that time in the morning and just view it as honoring the previous day and the previous night, as well as whatever else your system processed that night. Because even while we're sleeping, we're working in our sleep loves. So waking up in the morning, honor that you did that. Honor that that process happened. Allow the results of that work to drop into your system. And what I find is within that 15, 20, 30 minutes, sometimes it doesn't even take that long, but you want to give yourself a little space. I'll start to feel energized and awake, and my energy will feel lighter and clearer, and I'll start to be ready for what the present day has to offer. And I will be much clearer and present in the current day, as opposed to still trying to carry yesterday forward with all of the stuff from yesterday in the past. I hope this is making sense to you. If not, drop your questions in the comments and I'll do my best to address them. But bottom line is taking that time to transition, giving yourself the space to do that, honoring that you are subconsciously processing, receiving more information than we actually have the bandwidth to even fully understand in those current moments, because we're taking in all the information that's around us on all the different dimensions in all the different ways, especially as we're opening up and advancing in our ascension and evolution process. Okay. So it's really important to honor this. And then for any of you who've had previous traumas or CPTSD, there can become pockets where these times are exacerbated, which is where you really want to make sure that you're taking more space for yourself to honor your process. I encourage you, if you feel overloaded, to get yourself support as well. Energy work, craniosacral, coaching, therapy. It doesn't matter, whatever works for you. I actually do a little combo of all of those things sometimes, but like just finding what supports you physically, emotionally, and spiritually, because any ways that you pour into supporting yourself is ultimately going to help every other area of your life, your job, your career, your purpose, your relationships, your health, right? You focus on your physical health, it's going to help your emotional health. You focus on your emotional health, it's going to improve your physical health. You feel me? So anything that we're doing to support our overall well-being And whatever area we're needing is ultimately going to support us in all the areas of life. Okay. I hope this was helpful. I don't want to overload you too much. I'm going to actually leave this one right here. And if it brought up other ideas or other questions, again, please drop those in the comments and I will do my best to share the information that I'm receiving in each and every moment. That one second thing I wanted to tell you, I want to touch back on from the beginning is if you're overloaded and you're not in a space to make a clear decision that's not filled with anxiety, give yourself space. I understand sometimes we do have to make decisions quickly. And if you have to, by all means, do what you have to do. But if it is possible at all to give yourself space, and I'm not talking about that anxiety driving you to want to do it. I'm talking about, do I really need to make this decision right now? And if the answer is no, then wait, give it a day or two or a couple hours or whatever have you. The answer will come. Just set that intention for the highest solution of what's going to be the most supportive thing for you and give it space. Give yourself space to trust yourself and to trust your intuition. And that's the biggest thing that our systems are needing is space. Because when we have space, we can build that trust with our own inner knowing and we can let our system process the old information from the past so that we can actually focus on the truth of what is present for us now versus trying to make decisions in the present that are based on all of that old information that for the most part is no longer relevant for the most part. Okay. All right, my loves, I'm going to leave it there. I love you. I hope this was helpful and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.